I hate everything about you.
3 Days Grace are back with Alienation, their 8th studio album, their 4th with Matt and 5th with Adam. Does this double lead singer arrangement work? And will 3 Days Grace rise above their place as my 111th favorite band of all time, Space and Coffee? Find out in this video. You have to. The album begins with laughs and expletives before the chugga 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 riffs explode and Adam starts the vocal journey that we're about to go on, but Matt is just following right behind him. Dominate is a headbanger filled with rage and pouring out both lead singers with this rage-filled attitude that we get on this opening track. Apologies is standard single fodder for 3 Days Grace. It's not bad, not fantastic, but it does show how the two lead singers can make this dynamic work, and it does work on Apologies. It's a simple song with some smart shifts near the end of the song with a poppy kind of sound near the end, and it's not wasted space. It still got me. At this early in the record, I'm still excited about what we could hear later on. Mayday was one of the earliest tastes of the record that we got from 2/X3 Grace or whatever they're called now. And it's grown on me quite a bit since it came out. I didn't like it when I first heard it, and now it's in my rotation. With the classic rock band on a passenger jet music video. You know, the Foo Fighters and Sum 41 have done it better in the past. This one's pretty fun. The song itself sounds like a callback to Animal I've Become, one of the band's greatest hit singles of all time, Space and Coffee. At least as far as the groove goes. The rest of the song is pretty original, and it's a lot of fun. Even if it is nostalgia bait, I am gobbling it up, hook, line, and sinker. God, I'm pale and bald. Kill Me Fast. Kill Me Fast. I'm pale and bald. Kill Me Fast is a weak link in Alienation, but it's still listenable and engaging at points. It feels like Adam's doing a Matt-style song, and honestly, I'm done with that. I don't want to hear that style of 3 Days Grace anymore, but it is nice that they're blending in the elements from across the board. This album doesn't seem like it's just packing everything full of nostalgia bait from all the eras of 3 Days Grace, but there is a nice mixture of some of it in the bag. If you lick the bag. In the Waves sounds like it could have been from self-titled debut album, and you could trade this one for the deep cuts there and break even. It's that quality, the Ibanez Barrage. I can't read my own writing. And it's typed. The Ibanez Barrage. Say that 25 times fast. The Ibanez Barrage is strong enough in this one, so some of the doofiness that I got from like the vibes of this song being kind of doofy, they're forgiven. You are all forgiven. Alienation is the title track. It goes heavy, and it goes really heavy on the riffage, and while there is a bit of the bouncing back and forth between the two leads, Adam is the lead on this one, the star of this one, and this feels like the future of the band that started out back in the early aughts. Alienation is where they were heading and where they are on this album. So that's kind of cool to hear. And Matt pulls his side of the band's catalog as well later in the track. It's a balancing act like the band is doing, and they're doing it pretty well so far into the track list. Does Alienation deserve the album title track status? I don't know. What do you think? You guys let me know in the comments if maybe there should have been a better album title track. Track 7 is always the ballad, right? A wise Yoda named Trey Cool once said that. Never Ordinary is a soaring power anthem, and it's engaging throughout its runtime, if not the strongest song I've ever heard. Death Wish is a straight-ahead rocker, and it'll probably be a single at some point. And it gets us back on track to what kind of album finale are we leading to with these kind of songs like Death Wish. And Don't Want to Go Home Tonight swings us back into the ballad box, the bird box. But this one succeeds where Never Ordinary was kind of ordinary. I really like I Don't Want to Go Home Tonight, which surprises me because when you see a title like that, you just think, oh, boring. So very tired. I mean, boring. But Don't Want to Go Home Tonight, one of the better ballads on the album, and there are several. In Cold Blood shifts to an entirely new level of electronic hard rock, a blend behind the band. It's a muscular, coffee-injected fuckfest. Why did I write that? That can't be right. Take that as you want. It's a muscular, coffee-injected fuckfest with Yoda. Perfectly in Cold Blood. Cold Blood with gnats floating around your throat. What I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know who writes this stuff on the laptops. I don't know. I just found this laptop laying around somewhere. A huge surprise as you travel through this landscape, this track list, is that while there are huge swaths of this album that could be called generic rock or even dumb, watered down, nostalgia-ridden, gimmickry, there's a lot of insults that could stick to this album from someone for whatever reason. And one thing that surprises me is that this album gets stronger as you flip it over from side A to side 2 or B, like Mayday. Mayday is the highlight of side A, but then when you get to track 8, called Death Wish, the album is more varied and strong, with better lyrics and stylistic changes popping up more frequently that really engage people like me and you and William Shatner. I thought this album was going to be the band just checking all the boxes, like blending every sound of the band and just putting this generic album out. But there's some juices as you get further into the valleys and the rivers of this album, and that's always a good thing, my friends. In this journey of our journey through inner collapse and outward defiance, it's a callback to the title X1. Alienation is a strange place in the history of 3 Days Grace, for sure. And I actually like it when rock music gets weird. So I appreciate that this album is weirder than I thought it would be. I just thought it was going to be basic rock album, end of story, done. And this could have been a Paint by Numbers 3 Days Grace release, and they didn't go that route on every single song on the album, and I'm really, really appreciating what they've done here. They've rocked hard, they've balladed hard. Does the two-headed monster, does the two-headed monster shtick work? It feels a little weird. It feels very weird to have two lead singers. It's a little, it throws you off a little bit. I'm used to multi-singer bands like Blink-182, Green Day in some instances, Red Hot Chili Peppers, U2. A lot of bands have other people singing. You know, Everclear, all these rock bands over here have had somebody else sing. You know, the Beatles, the Bare Naked Ladies, Avenged Sevenfold, Cold, Chumbawamba. Metallica don't be letting anybody else sing. But, KG from Tenacious D. But it does feel a little weird, and it's hard to tell exactly how they're splitting it up. I don't know if there's a rule or if one of them gets more than the other, but it sounds like it's pretty evenly split. They probably did that on purpose. You can calculate that in your free time if you want to, because I'm trying to hear every song I've recorded. I ain't got time for that. Recorded music started in like 1877, and I'm so far behind. But I really hope that we get a few albums, at least a few albums, to get used to this, because it's very weird. It's a very weird listen. But I do think with the passing of time and as we get familiar with this record, it will work. As we move forward. Alienation itself is a 3.33333333 out of 5. So where does that put 3 Days Grace in my ranking system here on the channel? They've actually bumped up with this record from... where did I say they were? They were like, what, 111? Now they're bumped up all the way to number 95. They're in my top 100 bands, putting them in league. With Guns N' Roses, of all bands. Rock and roll is sometimes noise pollution. That's not Guns N' Roses. That's an ACOCDC band. Adam, it's over. You didn't have to ask.
Welcome to the animal kingdom, baby. You're gonna live. Dun-dun.